I think it's more important than ever because we have this increased urgency now every month to get the SAP business community over into the S/4HANA space.
So welcome everyone to a new special episode of the Tea with T. Today I'm joined with Barry. But Barry, why don't you introduce yourself?
T, hey, thanks a lot for having me join you for Tea with T down here in the southeast of the U.S. I like all forms of tea, hot tea, sweet tea, iced tea. It's all good. It's hard to think of a better drink than tea, but happy to join you here. I've lived for the last 17 years up around New York City, actually, Long Island, New Jersey, those surrounding states. Now for the last month, I've been down in Florida. So Florida is my new home. When I'm not out enjoying the Florida outdoors and walking the dog and things of that nature, I'm working with Security Bridge. And Security Bridge is sort of a culmination, you might say, of my SAP consulting career. If you're not familiar with them, they handle the vulnerability management and threat monitoring market segment, as a SAP partner, and they have a product in the SAP marketplace. What I'm doing with them is they are more familiar in the Europe space, the market over there in Europe, but I'm helping them expand into the USA market. Been doing SAP for I would say, oh wow, over 15 years.
Oh, that's great to hear and quite exciting. And so today we actually want to talk a little bit more about master data. Doesn't sound like the most interesting thing. I find it very exciting, but from your point of view, Barry, tell me, why are master data still important after all those years? Why do we still have to talk about that?
Yeah, T, one of my very first jobs in SAP was customer master data. Dealing with the marketing team. From the customer master data, I made a hop over to finance master data. And some people might think, how did you move from CRM over to FI? Well, the way I moved from CRM to FI and CO was through the master data. So a lot of the the skills and the best practices that you learn with one set of master data can be applied to all. Accuracy, up-to-date data, a single source of the truth. All of those ideas are valuable across all forms of master data. When I looked at master data, I saw it as cross-module. It was a cross-module skill. Every module that is in SAP requires master data. And so I said, why not work with the master data team? But I learned that master data is really important, not just for the ability for me to be cross-module, but it's because transactional data and the reliance upon accurate transactional data depends on good quality master data. So it needs to be pristine, accurate, and aligned, of course, with the desired module configuration. Beyond finance and customer master data, I've been able to work with material master data. And I hope you agree with this idea that the user data is also a form of master data. And it's sort of the cousin to HR master data, because most of your users are HR employees. So they have HR master data associated to them as well. That became sort of my transition of working through master data in different forms and different consulting opportunities across until I came to user master data. I gravitated to that and started working with SAP Security, and here we are today talking about master data. So that was, I guess you could say, the security bridge for me, if you'll pardon the pun. I transitioned from forms of master data over to security.
Thanks for sharing this. And I think you really hit the nail that master data really is everywhere. You have customer master data, supplier master data, and obviously they serve different purposes. And one of my colleagues, he's already long retired, he actually said that 99% of all transactional process related problems can be always backtracked to some master data challenge. But in your own experience, which kind of challenges, common challenges around master data come into your mind when talking about challenges?
The key things, I guess you could call it a differentiator of success or failure for like a master data management team, or maybe we could elevate the term and call it a enterprise data management. Maybe they want to put their own flair, their own jargon around that. So that team needs to have a good budget, good funding. It needs to have the right organizational structure. So I was fortunate enough to be in an enterprise data management team that had subset teams, a sub team for finance, for customer, material, vendor. All of these were separate. And then HR was matrixed into our team, but they were special because they were, still a subset of HR. So they had some matrix reporting over to us for best practices, but they maintained their own reporting within HR. And then, of course, user master data similar. They had reporting to the security team, and then they could matrix to us for best practices as well. But when I worked with the finance master data team, we actually reported up to the chief operating officer. And you might think, why does the finance team have reporting outside of the chief financial officer? And what they did was they had the regular finance structure, your accounting, your controlling teams rolling up to the CFO. But then they took that stewardship of the master data and they moved it under the COO. And so they had a segregation of duties all the way up to the chief level, COO. And so they didn't truly merge back until the CEO. I thought that was pretty interesting. And it showed a good example where that enterprise data management team was set up for success in both budgeting and org structure. I think you can't always do that with master data, because you can do it to a degree where you can have you can basically delegate a data administrator into the HR team to do master data. So they have to have that segregation, but it's subsetted within their own team.
You really mentioned a very important aspect. I mean, since master data really touches all parts of the organization, then obviously there needs to be some ownership and stewardship also quite high up the organization because of the very diverse range of responsibilities.
If you think about a sales order, right? A sales order comes through and it has the material master, it has the customer master, and of course it has the finance master data, all of that tied together. And if any of those pieces are wrong, then the transactional data itself becomes wrong. So I think one of the other challenges is if the master data team needs to have its communication structure strong into the business community, but then it needs to have that tie back to the SAP ERP team to control the the change management, the configuration, transports, all of that fun stuff. So they have to be a good bridge between the business end consumer, but also the ERP team.
But thanks for really then actually providing me the segue into my last question for today is how can business process management really address these challenges so that we have a combined approach of, let's say, the continuous improvement initiatives or the cost containment, cost efficiency topics together with the master data?
Well, I will say this to you for Signavio. I've counted up. I think I've known about Signavio for about 9 months. So I still have a lot to learn, and I think that's why it's important to have a dialogue like T with you here, and we get to learn together. So I do like that part. But if you think about business process management, before Signavio, with Signavio, I think it's more important than ever because we have this increased urgency now every month to get the SAP business community over into the S/4HANA space, whether that's a a simple migration or a major transformation initiative, we know that it's becoming more urgent. And I think Signavio is going to be a piece of that that accelerator to help bring that along. But if you think about master data, there's never a business process management initiative that I can think of that doesn't need, master data. If you look at any of those teams, there's the core team, but then there's that subset team that is responsible for the loading of data into the mock cutover and the mock simulation and the cutover simulation and all of these different testing cycles that have to be conducted. So they have to stage master data. They have to stage all of this content and test it out. And then from the results of that testing, they can see, all right, we're going to have a successful migration or a transformation, whether it's a massive program like S/4HANA or even just a smaller upgrade initiative from just one release to the next release of another product. Master data always seems to be involved no matter what. So I think BPM or Signavio as a product or a methodology, maybe we could call it that. It's going to really help out, and master data, no matter which way we slice it, will be a part of it.
Do you have any particular question for me?
Yeah, I just have a request. Is bear with me. I'm learning on Signavio as we go along here. So I learn more about it every week, every month, it seems. I'm not hands-on because I'm working with a vendor. So my request is, continue telling us more about Signavio, how we can, maybe as an individual consultant, but even from my space as a consultant working with a vendor, how we can coordinate and collaborate with Signavio to make it a success for everyone.
That's a very, very valid request, and we are continuously working on this as well. You can actually try out also the community.sap.com and look for SAP Signavio, because that's actually our open community, open to everyone, really, whether it's students, professional experts, partners, customers, everyone. And quite a lot of really great content around there, really very technical, up to very inspirational as well. And I think you mentioned it actually already earlier, that everything is master data and everything is process. And I think this is really a match made in heaven, that there is really no major business process management initiative without involving master data, and vice versa.
Right.
And brushing teeth doesn't seem very exciting. And often many people also don't think that master data or process management is very exciting. But I think if we look at the outcomes or the ability to also avoid disasters, I think that's actually quite exciting. So that's why sometimes we just need to get the fundamentals right in order to really also achieve the desired outcomes. And with that, thanks so much, Barry, for sharing and also being so honest and courageous of putting yourself out here. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.